have now come out to the Post saying, yes, in fact, the Democrats at the highest levels of the party threatened Joe Biden and said, if you don't step down, we'll just get you out of the top spot using our own means. A source speaking to the Post said that debate, that disastrous debate with millions of eyes on it, was a setup to convince Democrats that he couldn't run for president. And it wasn't hard for anyone watching at home to make that assessment all by themselves.
Eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID, with dealing with everything we have to do with, look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Trump's patient confusion, just channeling the emotions of everyone watching there. But this is exactly what I said. The minute the Democrats said, actually, we will have a debate, earliest presidential debate in American history, that far out to an election, we will have a debate. I said there's only two reasons why they would do this. Either to prove to everyone, we'd see the Manhattan Project of pharmaceutical stimulants on display, and everyone would be like, oh, actually, he's not that bad. Why are people raising all these concerns about his mental faculties? Or number two, which I highly suspected, the whole idea was to watch him crash and burn so that everyone would turn against him and say, this guy's got to go. And it worked perfectly.
And the other evidence that this was set up was the way that CNN handled the debate. I mean, we all noted at the time that they were softballing questions to Donald Trump. And the use of the split screen that we just saw there enabled Biden to stumble and mumble, while Donald Trump, without saying a word, managed to, as you said, channel all our thoughts to exactly what was happening. It was quite remarkable that CNN allowed that. And then, of course, straight after the debate, every left-wing news outlet immediately slammed Biden, started to question his suitability. Then there were leaks. Then Democrats put their names to the leaks. Then George Clooney came out. But one strange thing that I didn't sort of note as being that important at the time was, remember we were joking about the fact that Biden started getting his advice from Hunter. And we all thought, well, I mean, this is ridiculous. Hunter's a crackhead advising the president. But it makes sense now, because if the family felt we are being set up, we are being pushed out, there would literally be no one left to trust other than your immediate family. So it wasn't so stupid that he had Hunter in all the meetings. It was just he dared not trust anybody else. That's the way it now.
Yeah, potentially so. I mean, take advice from a crackhead. At least you can trust him because he's easier to son, right?
What does that say about the Dems?
Indeed. I think there's two distinct eras of Biden now. The clip we just played was BT, before Tan, and then you have the post-Tan Biden, which is where it's all sort of fallen apart. But the more you look into the rules that were put around that debate, I mean, the fact that the microphones were closed when the other was speaking, which played straight into Trump's hands because it prevented him from constantly interrupting and making a menace of himself, which made Trump look good. And the fact that Biden was the one who challenged Trump to a debate, right? And you would have thought if you were Biden or any of his advisors, much like, and of course they did have debates in 2020, but much like 2020, your strategy would be to put Biden in the bunker and keep him as far away from the public and the cameras and the journalists as possible, because you know that's where he can potentially slip up. And what we had was Biden come out and post a video online saying, you name the time and place, buddy, I'm ready to go. I mean, you can't tell me that Biden genuinely thought he was, well, maybe he would have genuinely thought it, but that he was ready to go for a debate. But that his aides, unless they were setting him up, would not have said, look, Mr. Biden, we reckon a debate mightn't be the best thing you could do for your
It was a
why don't we just sort of leave that to one side? But no, they threw down the gauntlet, and that's ultimately what brought him undone.
But how magnificent is the way that Obama has played this. I mean, remember after the debate, he just said, look, anyone can have a bad night. One bad night doesn't mean anything. Meanwhile, everybody else is doing the dirty work. Now Kamala has stepped forward and Biden has said, well, we will have a process and I trust the party to come up with the right. Obama's not got his fingerprints on anything, and yet you can see him all over it.
Oh, he's extremely shrewd. You've got to give him that. And everyone saw that during his presidency as well. He was known as a very brilliant orator. He's a wonderful wordsmith, and he's playing his cards very close to his chest. Even if that is, he doesn't want to be seen endorsing a woman who is, like Trump said, as dumb as a rock.
Do you still have faith in Kamala Harris? Apparently, according to the news, ladies and gentlemen, and let me be careful with the topic I say here, because I wrote Kamala or died. Let me be clear about something. My reason I came up with that is not a reference to the vice president or the president. It's not a threat to them. I'm going to explain why I'm saying that Kamala or die is similar as an analogy to a campaign that happened 20 years ago. So we're going to discuss in a minute. So it's not a threat to anybody. I don't need the Secret Service thinking that I made a threat or anything like that. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back after this break, but we know how we do the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, let's kick it off. whoever you are, wherever you are, hope you are blessed and doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings, family. Of course, I'm tuning in. You see me without the glasses off today. But if you're looking for some opportunities, particular advertisement opportunities, then look no further at the link at the bottom to my email address. You can hit me up for advertisement opportunities. We are supporting and promoting your businesses here on this channel. You can also, if you would like to donate and subscribe to our Patreon, a link is at the bottom as well. So you have multiple ways in which you can advertise with the platform by emailing me when we go on through our live stream. You also have access to premium content, those that want to see premium content that you will not find here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, as I am suspended probably by now. You guys can check out the Patreon at link at the bottom. But advertisement opportunities, definitely email me, gavin.grich1@gmail.com for rates. And for the Patreon, it is the same as the YouTube channel. It is channel gboot2786. All right, I'll holla. Peace. We're live, family. Excuse me for running a little bit late. Sorry for the slow start. And we're early. We're about an hour and 30 minutes early coming on the show tonight from the usual standpoint. I'm flying. Hold on, let me put myself on. We are live, and I'm coming at you with 5. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting edition of Random Topic Thursday. The hottest live stream in the cosmos. Everybody, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to go to Rumble, because we're on Rumble right now. And I need you to go in the comment section and click the link there and follow. That is the page for the Rumble right now. GRich2786. That is my Rumble channel. That's one of my channels where I go live. I have another channel, the GBoot2786, which is for here. and I'm actually going to put a link right there for you all to follow here. So if you are on YouTube, because we're trying to move some of our stuff to Rumble, I need you to please go right now, click on this link right here, because we are live. And I'm gonna lower the music a little bit because I want to make sure everybody can hear me when I've come on. You know, a lot of people have said they had issues, I guess, hearing the sound of my voice, my beautiful, voluptuous voice. Looks like we're doing fine. The mic is good, so y'all can hear me real good. Greetings, one who cares. Yeah, I'm early. Sean will not be joining us tonight. Thank you, Danielle. How you doing, dear? Sean citing exhaustion. He's working on his, I guess, 1,000 book. Geez, that man has a weird schedule. Sean needs a girlfriend, and he needs the money. So he's got to have the money first. You got to be like Scarface. First you get the money, then you got the power, then you get the women. So give our brother some money by going to, even though he's not here tonight, but purchase some of his books on Amazon, like the Man Crisis and the John Haynes series. We wish a special shout out to him. But please subscribe to Rumble. It's in the comment section. The link is there. If you're watching on X, if you're watching on YouTube, shout out to you all. Thank you. Yeah, please subscribe. And make sure you're sharing this video. Share a like, ladies and gentlemen. That's the only way the channel is going to get more followers. If you're watching on the Gavin Richard channel and the G-Boot channel, the only way we get more followers is if you subscribe. And, you know, the reason we ask for, I don't beg, but if you love me for my time, pay me for my time, because you can drop something in the Cash App, PayPal, or Zelle. If you subscribe to Rumble, because as you know, YouTube has demonetized the channel. They've taken away the monetization. You can actually donate through Rumble via the chat and drop a payment off if you would like to support. That's why we do these shows every day. It's hard to maintain it, but we do it. I do it for you all because I know that you all love me and I love you. And I like working on and talking to you all about the topics going on, because that's how we're going to conquer the world, is if we discuss things. We don't discuss stuff. We don't discuss stuff, then things don't move forward. We don't put lips to hands and do actions, then things will never be the same. So we are talking about, of course, before I get to Kamala Harris and the news with that, because that's primarily what we're going to talk about. As y'all know, on Tuesday, speaking of Rumble, I can't let this go because, and I want all of you all to see this, what we're dealing with. Now, some arguments, ladies and gentlemen, don't need to be arguments on the internet with others. You're wasting your time when you're fighting with a troll on the internet. But I want to give you an example of what's going on, because we're going to roast some mother scrunchers right now. You're going to tell just by looking at these videos on this comment section that I'm showing you that these are a group of people who actually are sitting in a certain room, preferably, I think, the bathroom on the toilet, while they type racial remarks about Black women like Sonia Massey. And I'm not going to go back and forth, but you can see the comments, just what I'm dealing with here. Hold on. I want y'all to look very carefully. This is what I have to put up with. And this is why I say subscribe to the page, ladies and gentlemen, because this is the crap I'm dealing with. This is the bullshit we're dealing with. You told me to go back to Africa and Chuck Spears. So I'm going to deal with this Quilonius, whatever the hell you call yourself. He tells me to go back to Africa and Chuck Spears. You go back to the mountain of Caucasus and give blowjobs to your brother. How about that? Go back to the cave where you came from in Caucasus. That means Caucasian. That's where Caucasians from the mountains of Caucasus. From Caucasus, as Cat Williams would say. And try and start fire with flints. How about that? Same thing with you. Now and he's got the nerve to say I'm schizo. This fucking name, Chamalagara. This motherfucker didn't pass English class. I bet $10 says he stands outside the stadium in his hometown, trying to relive his glory days from the football world. I think he's banged up, busted up with CTE. Separately, all of you assholes, you have a problem with this channel. You make racist remarks, you're all getting deleted. Not only are you getting deleted, you get reported. I don't have time for this. So that's why I say y'all come on here. I'll bet another $10 Shamala Ragavra actually looks like Magic Johnson's son. I think Shalom Garaga and Kilionius are lovers. One's top heavy, the other's bottom heavy. The top heavy one looks like a rolled up toothpaste. That's rolled all up. The other one looks like his bottom looks like he shot 10 pounds in a 5-pound bag. Get the fuck out of here. So this is stuff we got to deal with. So I want y'all, but now some stuff is not worth fighting. That's why I'm not going to keep commenting back and forth, because if I do that, all that's going to do is just open them up to come back with me. So some stuff isn't worth going back and forth for. If man don't put his hands on you, if he's not talking about your family or threatening to harm you, you ignore stuff like this. But that don't mean you have to tolerate it. And the best way to do that is simply just delete and block. But ever since we've been commenting on this, everybody thinks they're an attorney and a police officer. Here's the bottom line. Sean Grayson was arrested for all of these fools who fell on their head a few times when they were 5 years old. Sean Grayson was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. He was also charged with, why do they have 5 counts here? But they have him charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder. According to this news article, he was also charged on some other charges, including, I think, it's not malfeasance of an officer, but he was denied bail for a reason. It was because the officers knew, everybody knew, this was not a justified shooting, period. This was not a justified shooting. You think she was throwing the water at him from behind an island when she's on the ground? You go back and look, they told her to put the pot down. She did. And then when she did put it on that sink counter, because I did the breakdown from the video and it speaks for itself. They told her to put it down. Even though it's down, he asked her to basically pick it back up again, or she got confused by what she says. Now, I can't read minds, but I know police officers can give multiple commands. And when you got two of them, tell you get down on the ground, put that down, and so forth. They say all kinds of shit to confuse someone. They escalated the situation, period. The officer, and I use the term loosely, the deputy rather, he exercised excessive, he was aggressive the whole time. He was not friendly. He was not a neighborhood police officer. He was very ugly. He fired 3 times. And when he charged her with first-degree murder, when he said, you better not, I swear to God, I'll shoot you in your effing face. I'll effing shoot you in your effing face. He fired 3 times. Period. So there ain't no debate with this. Aggravated battery with a firearm and official misconduct. First degree murder, official misconduct, and aggravated battery. The battery, why it's aggravated is because he used a deadly weapon that injured her, that killed her. So all the stuff you are saying, all the stuff you're trying to make, the talking points, you can save it for the birds. Fly south, motherfucker. That's all I got to say to your ass. So I'm not going to comment back and forth. They're getting deleted, but I needed to get that off my chest because I saw that earlier today and I get the email notifications when they leave the comments. But the bottom line is, this sister was shot in cold blood. And shout out to Harvey from Your World because and he announced it on Nicole's View. That was his cousin. So and he and I had a private talk about it. So my sympathies to him and his family and what they're going through. But this was wrong. This was wrong what they did to this woman, what he did, and they were nonchalant. So there's no change in this shit. And you can leave comments all you want. You're a racist scumbag. And you know what? I hope none of these fools, by the way, who are commenting, I want y'all to know too, when we click on their avatars, their profiles, they don't even make any videos. So these are trolls. So I'm not going to waste myself on a mayonnaise monkey. I'm the primate, but I'm a primate. She's a primate, but they're the ones that's probably looking like the damn Umbrella Academy mascot. They're the one looking like they mama fuck Bubbles. No video. So I'm not going to waste time with this stuff. And you know, Rumble, something Harvey said, which is true. Rumble tends to lean to the right. The reason I'm here on Rumble is because there is a freedom of speech thing that I get on Rumble that I don't get on YouTube. So I'm grateful to YouTube, to Rumble for that. But other than that, no, I don't care about it. Yeah, Harvey was on. Now, Harvey asked me not to talk about it, and I wasn't, but I did see him on Nicole's View, and he did make that announcement. I guess that announcement that he and Miss Massey were related. So I felt it was okay. I could mention that here. So, but my prayers to him and his family. And so, Brother Harvey, I keep you in prayer, and anything I can do or anything we can do. The main thing we are doing is doing now is watching this case closely, but I'm not backing down and I'm not intimidated by trolls, but I would leave all the fighting to you all, since you are following me. If you subscribe to the Rumble channel, again, I'm putting it right here. Shout out to my family on X. It's also important you go on the Twitter, but we're trying to move slowly away from YouTube. So anything y'all can do, shout out to you, Danielle. Danielle's watching me on Rumble. Yeah, y'all go ahead and subscribe. Let's go ahead, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get into what I was talking about. What the main topic is Kamala or die. And I put it in question marks. Now, again, this is not me talking in reference of violence. I want to be clear. I don't want anyone to think that's what I'm doing or my intentions. It's not. I'm not trying to say I want harm to happen to any candidate, to any person, to anybody who votes differently. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm making a reference to this. I did something that I've been meaning to do. Let me turn my music down. Hold on. I got to turn the music down. Okay. I've been doing something I have been meaning to do for a while. On yesterday, I changed my allegiance from Democratic Party to Independent. Something that I had not done since I became a registered voter. I was a registered voter I've been a registered voter since 2004. I was 18, so 20 years ago. And I remember as a young man when I first registered, when I turned 18, and I was a teenager, and I was at St. Aug, they were trying to get us to sign up, make sure we signed, you have to do your selective service. You had to enroll in that, but also which is for the draft, but also making sure you're registered to vote. And I was a registered Democrat, and I can tell you, I remember when I was 14, I couldn't vote, but I remember when George Bush won, or I shouldn't say won, I should say he was given the presidency, because everybody from their mama and them knew Al Gore won that election. Now, Al Gore was a weak candidate in the fact that he didn't carry Tennessee. But the bottom line is he won Florida. And they even said, had all the votes been counted, that Al Gore would have won Florida. Yet the Supreme Court decided that the election should go to George Bush. And I distinctly remember that. And for over a week and a half, we didn't know who our president was going to be. And the nation was at a standstill. And George Bush was given this, not to mention also his campaign manager in Florida was a Secretary of State. The governor of Florida was his brother. So there was a lot of shady stuff that went on. I remember that as a kid. And it was there that I had a sense of feeling, that the electoral system in this country was corrupt. Now, even despite what happened, then came 2004. Now, I want to show you something. Now, there's a reason why I have this. How many of y'all remember the campaign Vote or Die? Now, South Park did a sketch episode where they made fun of P. Diddy. Where he was chasing Stan. But yeah, if you all remember the Vote or Die campaign, I want to show you. Now, that was started by Citizen Change. That was started by Diddy. So he did that, and he was backed by 50 Cent, Mary J. Blige, Mariah Carey, to get young people out to vote. In 2004, it was vote or die. And then in 2008, it was Obama or die. That's what Diddy Doo talked about regarding your 2008 election. Obama or die, or vote or die. This nigga was saying this shit. That was the campaign's message, and it was based off of phrase "join or die" that was made by Benjamin Franklin, a cartoon. And Diddy, as we know, who's been embattled, he was doing is going around. I'm gonna just play a clip. Hold on. This campaign
to run for the president of the United States. I'm sorry.
Man, times have changed.
I am here today to launch my campaign for the people, Citizen Change. Citizen Change is a nonpartisan, nonprofit organization that will educate, motivate, and empower the more than 40 million youth and minority voters, also known as the forgotten ones, who are eligible to vote on November 2nd and who will ultimately decide who will be the next president of the United States of America. That's right. Y'all hear me? For years, politicians have wondered how to get young people and minority voters to the polls. The answer is simple. Listen. Start listening to the people. They're crying out for help. They're crying out for change. Throughout history, people have sacrificed their lives so we can enjoy the freedoms that we have today, including the right to vote. And people are still dying today. People are dying inside because they can't get a proper education and have no hope for their future. People are dying because they are hungry and living in the streets in poverty. People are literally dying because they don't have health care and they're getting turned away from hospitals. How can this happen in America, the richest, most powerful country in the world? It shouldn't. This is a matter of life or death. This election is life or death, which is why Citizen Change has come up with our campaign slogan, vote or die. See, when you vote for a president this November, you are putting your life and the lives of your family in the hands of someone else. If I'm scaring you, good, because that's how serious this is. President Bush and Senator Kerry have shared the same dream, to become the president of the United States.
Now, John Kerry.
With this dream comes a reality and a responsibility that if elected, you must take care of all Americans, minorities, whites, blacks, young people, old people, rich, poor, all religions, all colors, all people. And all people deserve a proper education. All people deserve adequate health care.
So this is what Diddy had to say. This is Diddy's take. Now, this is when he was launching his campaign. Vote or die. Which was utterly ridiculous, but we as a community, a lot of people fell for it. They always go to these celebrities, and it's not a new thing, to try and galvanize votes. And look, I was a kid at that time. I was one of them, although I had my doubts about it. And we voted. I remember actually being in a long line trying to cast a vote for John Kerry. And John Kerry was not a good candidate, to be honest. He was not the best candidate. They put him up. They didn't bring Gore back to try and challenge. And at that time, the United States was at war. So a lot of people wanted the troops to come home. And of course, this was, we think 9/11, or at least what transpired with going into at first Afghanistan and Iraq was personally motivated by George W. Bush. But look, John Kerry got 251 electoral votes to 286 electoral votes for George Bush. So it was a close election. But Bush won the popular vote, supposedly. But if they can have a presidency determined, if the presidency can be determined through the electoral college just like that, if they can actually change the votes in Florida and disregard votes that are counted, what is the purpose of telling people vote or die? The republic that we have in the United States, we're not a democracy, we're a republic, which is in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thomas Jefferson and other American founding fathers stated that if this country doesn't work, to throw it out. That was certainly a coup that happened in 1963 when Kennedy was assassinated. It also happened in 2000 when Gore lost. Thank you. That's what I wanted to show y'all. And so they use these fear tactics to get Negroes to come out and vote. And I showed the video earlier, and as it relates to Kamala Harris immediately when it was announced on Sunday that Joe Biden would be stepping down, and the way he did it was interesting in and of itself, because at that time, that's a Sunday, he didn't wait until Monday during a business day where he could do a speech. He did his speech on yesterday where he announced why he was stepping down for the good of his country. And this is a full 180 from 2 or 3 weeks ago when he made it clear, a few days ago even, not 2 weeks, a few days, he said he wasn't stepping down. He was not stepping down. But the Democratic leaders like Barrack Obama even suggested, we're not going to win with this president. George Clooney said the same thing, and others. They withheld money. Donors withheld somewhere upwards to $93 million. They withheld that until Biden stepped down. The top told him, we're not going to, don't give anything to the super. That was a super PAC. But now look, this, and I'm not making this up. You look here, per Google, just at the headlines. Now, 3 days ago, so today's Thursday, so we're talking Monday, $150 million commitment has been received by the super PAC when Biden announced he was dropping out of the race. So they're saying how Kamala raised all of this money. This, she already had, there were Future Ford had $122 million on hand. She raised all of this money. It's not her raising the money. They're giving it to her because they didn't want Biden. He dropped out, and she was the top name that they could get. Although she wasn't really the best, and she's not. And I'm going to talk about her incompetency in a few minutes. And all of this seems like she has been pushed. Kamala Harris basically has been pushed on to the American people, the Democratic voters, to go ahead and select her because there is no other candidate really that has a chance or had a chance of beating Donald Trump. Gavin Newsom is not strong enough to go against Trump. I'm a believer in that. The Kentucky governor, who's Democratic, is not. Damn sure you think they're gonna get Eric Adams? You think they're gonna get Andrew Cuomo after what happened in New York? Hell no. And so, guys, millions of dollars has flown, I can't deny it, to Harris's campaign. And then they even had these black men for Kamala. There was brown women for Kamala. There's black women for Kamala. There was a link that was sent. I even saw the link, and Roland Martin was a part of it, where they pledged $1 million in one night to give to Kamala Harris, to a black woman. Now, something interesting, Obama, and I played that video earlier, he has not formally endorsed Kamala Harris. He has not. And so it's been reported, and Roland Martin was actually upset to the point that our brother O'Shea Duke Jackson even did a video. Now, I'm not gonna play I'm gonna play the audio for Roly Poly, and yeah, and Roland was just upset that he was doing this, that he didn't come out and endorse. We all know that Roland Martin, Charlemagne the God, a few others, D.L. Hughley, you can add to that, that they basically rubber stamp anything from the Democratic Party. There's no hard questions. There's no hard questions. There's no challenging. There's nothing. You just everything Democrat. Anything is beat Trump. Beat Trump. That's their. That's what they're talking about. Is someone to defeat Trump, not what policies I'm going to keep in place. So he hasn't endorsed her yet. And hey, look, this is fair use. So I want y'all to listen. This is fair use. Hold on. I want y'all to listen to the audio.
President Joe Biden talking about his career, what he meant. Of course, he served 8 years as Obama's vice president, and on and on and on. Now, what was interesting is as all of these endorsements were coming through, all these endorsements began to come through, people were going, okay, what about President Obama? Well, in his particular statement, after all of the praise for President Joe Biden, he then all of a sudden said this: we'll be navigating uncharted waters in the days ahead, but I have extraordinary confidence that the leaders of our party will be able to create a process from which an outstanding nominee emerges. I believe that Joe Biden's vision of a generous, prosperous, united America that provides opportunity for everyone will be on full display at the Democratic Convention in August. And I expect that every single one of us are prepared to carry that message of hope and progress forward into November and beyond. Well, guess what? He looked like he's on the island because you've seen the endorsements being racked up. One of the folks who was talking about the need for an open convention was former Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi. Many folks, and we've talked about it on this show, talked about how she was not necessarily supportive of Vice President Kamala Harris. Well, guess what? Nancy Pelosi had to come out with her own endorsement of Vice President Kamala Harris today.
So he's talking about how Obama looks like he's on an island because he wants to navigate the waters, and how Nancy Pelosi has endorsed Kamala Harris, which she has. Chuck Schumer has also endorsed Kamala Harris. Bill and Hillary Clinton did, but Obama was not sure. And if you read this article here, you read this article from Mint. Now, it states that President Obama did not and hasn't backed Kamala Harris because he believes she was just incompetent. Now, according to the Post, the New York Post, they say a source close to the Biden family, now we don't know who that is, told the New York Post that Obama is upset. The former president he does not believe Kamala Harris cannot win against Donald Trump. Barack Obama's very upset because she knows she can't win. The Post quoted the Biden family source as saying, adding, Obama knows she's incompetent. The border czar who never visited the border saying that all migrants should have health insurance. She cannot navigate the landmines that are ahead of her. The source went further and quote with a quote is saying that Kamala Harris is going to say something stupid in the U.S. presidential election debate with Donald Trump. Wait until the debate, Trump versus Harris. She can't debate. She's going to put her foot in her mouth about Israel, Palestine, Ukraine. She's going to say something really stupid, the source said. Meanwhile, an American media outlet has reported that Barack Obama will soon be endorsing Kamala Harris as the presidential candidate for the Democratic Party. Barack Obama privately has fully supported Kamala Harris's candidacy and has been in regular contact with the NBC News report mentioned, citing people familiar with the developments. Quote, aides to Obama and Harris also have discussed arrangements for the two of them to appear together on the campaign trail, though no date has been set. Now, she has the backing of the delegates, and she's a potential Democratic nominee. She hasn't been formally nominated. But I was on, and I've seen meetings. I've been in meetings with people. I know people who've talked. A lot of people have not done their research, especially when we talk about older Black Americans, people from my parents' age group and so forth. Most of these Negro, most of them, I'm being real, no disrespect, but they don't check and research anything anymore. Nobody researches these politicians and learns what their history was, where did they grow up, what were their practices like, what were they like when they were politicians in local government. Like nobody knew when Barack Obama, before he was a president, he was a state senator. The stuff he supported, like late-term abortions, they didn't know stuff like that. Abortions outside of the womb. He was the first president, the first senator to actually support that in Illinois history. When he became president, and he won by a landslide in both elections, his policies, he's made it clear he wasn't the president of Black America. I'm the president of all America. But no, you are the president of Black America because you represent every American, no matter what they look like, white, black, green, purple, whatever, you represent them. And you spent your time, Mr. President, President Obama, talking about how men should be able to marry men, women should be able to marry women. You supported that, okay? You also supported abortions. You stood up for illegal immigrants. You stood up. I'll never forget when Barack Obama actually put a tweet out supporting Bruce Jenner. I remember that when he became Caitlyn Jenner. He commented and they put him on the cover of that magazine. I can't even remember. Moist, whatever it was called. Why was the president commenting on something that don't even involve him? What's up, Bishop Scott? I haven't seen you in a while, my brother. Yo, let's not forget, he also made the remark that, let's get into that because he and Kamala Harris have something very similar. Remember, when Kamala said this, I've shown you this. Remember when Kamala was interviewed by the Griot? When asked about reparations, we remember this.
We had Jim Crow for almost a century.
So she's wrong about that. We've had slavery for more than 200 years. More than 200 years. Remember the 20 acres and a mule video I did a few weeks ago?
We had legalized discrimination, segregation, and now we have segregation and discrimination that is not legal but still exists and is a barrier to progress. We have disparities around housing. We have disparities around education. We have disparities around income. And we have to recognize that everybody did not start out on an equal footing in this country.
She didn't answer the direct question. The question was, do you support reparations for Black people? So I'm gonna let it play.
And in particular, Black people have not.
Word salad.
And so we have got to recognize that and do something about that and give folks a lift up. That's why, for example, I'm proposing the Lift Act. Give people who are making $100,000 or less as a family a tax credit, which will benefit and uplift 60% of Black families who are in poverty.
So by default, it affects Black families, but there's not a particular policy for African Americans that you would explore.
But no, if you look at the reality of who will benefit from certain policies, when you take into account that they're not starting at the same place and they're not starting on equal footing, it will directly benefit Black children, Black families, Black homeowners, because the disparities are so significant. So if we focus on the specific issues that have resulted in the greatest disparities, and we understand that's part of why we're doing it. Listen, the reality also is this: any policy that will benefit Black people will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No.
So she's made it clear. What does Roland Martin, so Roland Martin, Charlemagne the God, D.L. Hughley, Isaac Hayes III, brothers, I gotta ask y'all, Joy Reid, what's the response to this? I want y'all to ask them, especially if they get the chance to interview him. Remember, Steve Harvey did an interview with her. Yeah, I'm throwing her an alley-oop. You're damn right. We can't talk about no damn reparations. We got to get her in. They're already in there. They ain't talking about it. So what makes you think, what do they owe you if you give them the vote blindly without asking them first? You get nothing. He doesn't owe you anything.
Because whatever benefits that Black family will benefit that community and society as a whole and the country, right?
That's Kamala. The Asian hate crimes bill passed. Yes. And some people on this Griot page, they're even coming back to it. I've seen some recent comments because they know that Kamala has Vice President Harris now is the front runner for the Democratic Party. But people are standing by her. Now, on X, on Twitter, people have been lighting it up saying Black women have even put this out that they're not going to be supporting her. But of course, they have a few Negro-opians and Van Jones, who was on Crying Negro Network, as Judge Joe Brown would say, was crying about Uncle Joe stepping down. And then he's talking about Black men have to protect Kamala Harris. A lot of people have commented on that. So, in part because, and the reason I'm saying that is that Kamala, already there have been attacks just starting now because Kamala will be the front runner. They're starting to attack her for her past, basically for her time dating. I'm sorry, I see someone on the internet. For her time dating Willie Brown. Willie Brown was the mayor of San Francisco, or as Judge Joe Brown would say, Bishop Scott, San Fran Frico. And we know that she was messing with him while he was married. Of course, he was separated at that time, but still was married. And I'm not even tripping so much on that. But I remember her record, reading stuff about her. And Kamala Harris was the Attorney General of San Francisco. She was a DA of San Francisco. She was the Attorney General of California. And she kept, and the DA of San Francisco, she was a prosecutor. She would keep people in jail, in prison, for longer than the time they served just to get cheap labor. Her office was sanctioned by the Supreme Court of California and the bar because she kept the person in there and she had evidence that the man was innocent. There was a man on death row that was accused of murdering 4 people for marijuana, according to Newsweek here. The guy's name was Kevin Cooper, who was a black man. Now, Harris denied any wrongdoing, and he maintained his innocence and lost at least a dozen appeals, and he remains on death row. Now, I looked at that, but even before that, she was sanctioned for withholding evidence. So, what they say in the Kevin Cooper case is that he was trying to get DNA evidence, it looks like, introduced to help him. And he feels that the defense feels that the DNA evidence would exonerate him. And of course, when she was AG, she tried to prevent any appeals court from considering DNA evidence that would have exonerated the man. Her office litigated aggressively against allowing that evidence to be considered in federal litigation to stay his execution date. So in 2018, there was a major boost because there was a lengthy investigation by journalist Nicholas Kristof of the New York Times into the Kevin Cooper case. And he says, this is the story of a broken justice system. It appears that an innocent man was framed by a sheriff's deputy who is on death row, in part because of dishonest cops, sensational media coverage, and flawed political leaders, including Democrats like Brown and Kamala Harris, the state attorney general, for becoming a U.S. senator who refused to allow newly available DNA testing for a black man convicted of hacking to death a beautiful white family and young neighbor. So then Cooper's case received attention in 2018 when Dianne Feinstein and this was Senator Harris, so she was no longer the Attorney General at that time, called for DNA testing of evidence for reversal of her position. Cooper had been in prison in Chino, California since 1983 and was serving a sentence for burglary, but escaped 2 days before the murders took place. Her marijuana convictions, yes. There's a bunch of stuff, other stuff on her. You can go to the Newsweek stuff just came out recently, but other people, I mean, brother Juan B did a whole video, a breakdown of how, a whole breakdown of how she actually took the estate of Nina Simone away from the family. Now, I don't know the ramification, the whole entire story with that regarding who did what, but Nina Simone's granddaughter commented and stated that yes, Kamala Harris was the reason why the family lost the estate. And she gave the reasons. And if you think about it, at the time she lost the estate, the family lost the estate. I do recall when the actress Zoe Saldana was being courted to play, and I think did play Nina Simone in a movie. But everybody knows just from looking at it that Zoe Saldana doesn't even look a damn thing like Nina Simone. So how did she end up getting the role like that? Was because in part, if the estate was taken away from the family would have the say on who would play her, Nina Simone. Zoe Saldana, yeah, that was in 2016. And you know, she apologized, Zoe, for putting on, essentially darkening her skin to play Nina, and she later regretted the role. So the film received strong criticism from her casting, and the family refused to endorse it. But hey, if you don't control the estate, if you do not control the estate, then you have no say into who will play the lead role, who will play in those movies. If you don't own anything, you don't control it. Let me mute that. So Dwan B has done an excellent breakdown. And I'm going to play a video here. They go in talking about the decriminalization of marijuana. So I'm going to play a few videos here, and even Tariq Nasheed has some stuff. But we're going to see this. Hold on. So Dwan broke down this whole thing on what happened with Nina Simone. Shout out to Dwan.
Y'all heard that
I don't think
song
he's
be
going to mind
sung
me
by
sharing this.
Jay-Z,
So,
the story of OJ. But you know that Nina Simone's daughter and granddaughter and family did not get the royalties to that. Neither did they have any say-so in Nina Simone's documentary in her movie, because Kamala Harris in 2013, do you know that she took Nina Simone's estate from her daughter, from her granddaughter? Yeah, the same Kamala Harris that we all see running on the sister girl this, sister girl that. In 2013, she charged Nina Simone's daughter with improper use of funds of Miss Nina Simone's estate. And it's alleged that her daughter used $2 million, around $2 million for personal reasons. Kamala Harris's attorney general office came in and they took the estate by fining Nina Simone's daughter over $6 million in penalty fees for what she did, or what they alleged that she did. And instead of going around and working with her, instead of finding a way of saying, hey, pay restitution, she took the estate of Miss Nina Simone and gave it to white people. And yes, so the estate of one of the most pro-black, downright strong for Black America sisters estate is being run by white people because of Kamala Harris. They went so far as, if you guys saw Nina Simone's movie, do you remember the big uproar that they had over Zoe Saldana playing Nina Simone? Yeah, that was done by the people that took over the estate after Kamala Harris assigned it to them. Does this woman on screen look like this woman on screen? Does Zoe Saldana look anything like Nina Simone? So no, the family did not get to benefit from the movie. And this was all done just before her movie was released, and they started to re-release a lot of Nina Simone music and things from the past. So yeah, right when it came time to produce and to really reintroduce Nina Simone back to the world, Kamala Harris took the estate from her daughter. And so that is just a little bit of a eye peek into who she is. She's someone who runs black, talks black when it's convenient, but when it's time to, she attacks black. And Kamala Harris has a long history here in California of targeting black people to attack. This is just one of many cases. You're gonna find out more from me.
Yeah,
in the
Juan
meantime,
is going in
y'all stay
on
tuned
a.
for more.
He actually has a whole thread that he's doing. So he's even talking about the marijuana
To give us an
convictions.
arrow at where it was when she left. But look at where it was while she was in office. What's that? 2005. She got off 2004. So the 2005 point. If I this is what marijuana conviction. This is his stat. This is the source. District Attorney's Office of San Francisco. She took office in 2004. Where my arrow is where marijuana conviction charges were when she took office. It spiked while she was in office, and it went close to all-time highs. It went above the high for 1994. This here is where we was when we was decriminalized, 94, 95. This is when it was still totally illegal. This is what it was under Kamala Harris, this part right here. So it actually spiked during her tenure, and it dropped off. Guess when? 2010. Oh, what was 2010? That was when it was time for her to run for the Senate. For state attorney general. 2010 was when she put her bid in to be the California state attorney general. So the numbers went down the year she decided to go for a state office. But I'm using the stat. I'm not even going, I can go find the stat. I'm using the stat all of these niggas who think they're the smartest person in the room is using. I'm using their stat. Chat room. Chat room? Chat room. Hey, let me blow this up. I forgot I could blow this up. Let me blow this up. Let me blow this up. This is the smartest guy in the room that everybody is sharing. Questlove, and everybody is sharing. Everybody is sharing this smart guy's comments. Okay, look. And this is how they lie to you with statistics. You can be lied to with statistics. That's why I don't do stats. Like I will bring stats to beef up a point of view, but I'll never use stats to prove my point of view. Because if I got to use anybody that's using stats as a blanket statement, they're bullshitting you. Kamala's time was 2004 to 2010. 2004, California is at a low. The lowest it's been since 1983, it looks like. This is where the low was when Kamala took office. This spike is Kamala's tenure. And it only went down when she was leaving the position to go run for the state attorney general.
So there's a bunch of stuff. Now, I'm not even focusing on what supposedly was going on. I saw Candace Owens, that ostrich, going in on her record. Basically her record with Willie Brown, and I'm not even going there. I'm really looking at her position as attorney general. And here's the thing. For me, when you have, and I'm listening to people talking about her being able to prosecute Trump. A president doesn't prosecute. Oh, she was the top prosecutor. She's the one that could prosecute Trump. Charlemagne the God even said this stuff. She's not a prosecutor. when you become president, you're not a prosecutor. Now, she's a career prosecutor. That's how she got, that was part of how she got her start. But she's not when the president gets in office, she can't prosecute the case against Trump. I wish Negroes would stop saying that.
Let me bring you some context to this. Weed was already legal in San Francisco during that time. Although they didn't go to jail like he's going to say, weed was still legal during that time span in San Francisco. But these black men disproportionately got shit put on their records because they weren't doing something that was technically legal at the right place. Well, it wasn't legal, it was decriminalized. So they had a decriminalized drug, quote unquote, that kept finding a way to still charge black men.
Nah, Tariq Nasheed did a couple of videos. I mean, he's been going in about the Kamala Harris nomination and so forth. He dropped something the other day. Yeah, a lot of people saying he wrote this back in 2020. He said, while some of you out here celebrating, twerking, and buck dancing in the streets, thinking non-foundational Black American Kamala Harris becoming VP is some sort of Black victory, just remember this is what Kamala did. Yeah. The anti-truancy bill, right, where parents could go to jail if the kids missed. Yeah, she regretted that. Right. Withholding evidence. Tulsi Gabbard went in. I showed y'all seen that video about her record in California. But the thing with the Snoop Dogg, I smoked weed in school while listening to Snoop. I mean, Panda Bear. Put the music back on. That's what I call a Panda Bear. She's always pandering to promote something. I thought Hillary was bad with the hot sauce in 2016. Kamala got greens. Look, Vice President Harris, Kamala Harris got greens. Look at y'all, I'm mixing some greens. I'm starting to even talk so like y'all's. Yeah.
What'd you get? So, okay, so do you know music? Okay, so first of all, Charlie Mingus, really one of the greatest jazz performers ever. One of my favorite albums of all time. Roy Ayers, Everybody Loves Sunshine. You know this one? So good. It's a classic. And then Porgy and Bess, right? And this is a beautiful one. It's Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong. So there you go. What'd you get?
Y'all really think she's got a record player? Oh, he's got Joy Reid here. Yeah, she's got the Trump comb over telling black men if you don't vote for Kamala, you're going to look weird. You don't sit your natural Butch Reed looking at us down. And this is supposed to be a journalist. Journalists are supposed to have integrity. You're supposed to be unbiased with your reporting. And she's telling black men, you're going to look weird. She's telling black people, you look weird if you don't vote for her. This shaming tactic. This shaming tactic is not working. Joe Biden did it last election with Charlemagne. You don't vote for me, you ain't black. And Charlemagne And DJ Envy, man, if y'all heard the stuff they were saying.
Right, Marlon? So I know how to make a mean pot of greens. In fact, people used to ask me to make greens for them for Christmas. One year, I had so many that I had to wash that we ended up washing them in the bathtub. So I am not playing around. So what you got? Right, Marlon? So I know how to make a mean pot of greens. In fact, people used to ask me to make greens for them for Christmas. One year, I had so many that I had to wash that we ended up washing them in the bathtub. So I am not playing around.
That's how I look. That's how Joy Reid should look after that video. Not asking us who we're going to vote for. Saying, not telling us we're going to be weird for voting. That's weird. I made some mean pot of greens. Ugh. Oh, hello. Yeah, so voting is something that's quid. Yeah, Joy Reid. It's quid pro quo. And a lot of people are not doing that. If you're voting just because I don't want to see Trump, I don't want to deal with that, then what the hell is it for? Hold on, they got some funny videos here for y'all.
You know, I genuinely find it funny how so many black people are Democrats, but y'all don't even know the true history about the Democratic Party. How the Democratic Party did not even support integration. They supported segregation. How the Democratic Party did not even support civil rights. They opposed it. The fact that when those crosses was being burned in our family members' yards and our ancestors' yards, it was the Democratic people that supported this party. You know, their name was also called Dixiecrats. But, you know, let me just sit back and continue to watch my black people be slow, not be intelligent, and move off emotions. But keep going on to be a Democrat. They're going to hold you down even more and just give you food stuff and tell you a black man don't need to be in the household.
All right, hold on.
You know.
All right, well, maybe she wasn't the best of ones to show. I thought it was going to be funny. But, yeah, I did see a lot of people here on Twitter basically stating black women saying they wouldn't be voting for her. Dana with the data even did a whole video. Shout out to her. Dana actually, I think, is doing her show with the judge right now. They usually do a show on Thursday. I could be wrong. But I was on her podcast earlier this week. And yeah, she's got a blog going on with Judge. They're talking right now. So y'all should probably just tune in a little bit later. Yeah, the Man Up show with Judge Joe Brown. I damn sure ain't vote for that cum Queen Harris. I'm not taking her ass nowhere. I'm not voting for her if she was even gonna be nominated for the Queen of cleaning up porta potties. Hell no. I wouldn't vote for her if she ran for dog catcher of the year. And the rest of you fools, you sissified, pissified, down up punks who have no clue about what you're getting into. Right. As the AG, she wasn't just the prosecutor. She also handled civil cases. So that's why the estate, if Nina Simone's daughter was saying was taken away, that would make sense. She because the job of the AG's office They handle criminal matters, but they also handle civil matters as well. And she helped a lot of those banks in 2008. Remember this, as the AG, when you had these black and brown families that were being targeted by these predatory loans and so forth, she worked with that, I think it was One West Bank. Judge Joe Brown even gave me a breakdown on it. So I'm going to have the judge come on and explain why that was problematic. But judge did a whole breakdown. She didn't prosecute Stephen Mnuchin's bank. That's correct. For foreclosure violations back in 2018. Yeah, Judge Joe will give a break. I'm gonna have him come on sometime next week. We can do a breakdown on it. But anyway, y'all, I'm gonna wrap this up a little bit. I had to come on early. Yeah, but that's the link to the article here. Yeah, I'm weary of career prosecutors and putting them. This is me. Putting a career prosecutor, meaning you never did any defense work. You never saw both sides of the aisle. You were biased to one side and not to another, or had a fair view, a fair balance, or different sides of the aisle. I have questions about putting you in a higher position, but I think a lot of people are waking up, Danielle. There are a lot of people who say they're not going to, a lot of black women I've been seeing who said they're not going to vote for her. And yeah, we know we got those rednecks out there that are making racist remarks. This is going to be like 2008 all over again, but I think even with a smaller impact, I think there are some black people, at least now more than ever, who have woken up to this. What you're going to see are the Chucks and Pearls crew coming out for her. Yeah, I've seen sisters like this saying, I'm a foundational black American and I'm not voting for Kamala Harris. Yeah, I'm gonna just follow this sister because she's been. I don't even know her, but I'm gonna just follow her because it looks like she's being attacked from Chicago. Yeah. Yeah, Marcel Dixon did a whole video on it. Yeah. Thank you, Shauna B. Thank you, Danielle. Yeah. Computer Robots, Derek Bailey. Derek, it's been a long time, man. I haven't seen you in ages. Make sure you all guys are smashing up the like, share, and subscribe button. Drop something in the Cash App, PayPal, or Zelle. You see at the bottom. I'm going to do some separate videos about some separate topics. I got one legal topic I'm going to do for y'all. We're going to go over. I probably will record it tomorrow. But make sure you please, if you love me for my time, pay me for my time. You can drop something in there. Also, go to Amazon now, and you can order The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby on Kindle. Yeah, we came on live early. Yeah, I couldn't do the show. I didn't really want to do the show late, but since Sean wasn't coming on, I just said I would just come on early and do that. Yeah. All right, y'all. We're going to wrap this thing up. We're going to have more coming. I will see you all in the next one. Please make sure you join the Rumble and also X, all right? Love y'all. Be one, be safe, and be blessed. I'll holla. Peace.